All right, looks like we're live. What's up, guys? If you are catching this one on the, the replay, if you will, if you're watching this when it's not live, just know that every Wednesday and Friday from 6 to 9, well, 6 to 7 Central, or if you're on the Eastern time zone, 7 to 8, this 1 hour block here will be dedicated to the live hacking streams every Wednesday, Friday, from 7 to 8 Eastern. So, yeah, be sure to tune in during those times if you want to watch this live. You can run any questions by me or whatever. Though I will say, after next week, we'll be doing this next week, but then after that, I will be out of town, so we'll just have to do without the live streams for about like 2-3 weeks, and then we'll start this up again. So let's pretty much pick up where we left off on Wednesday. We had started the beatbox. Now, first thing I need to do is connect to the VPN on the Hack the Box network, and then my other monitor, go over to Hack the Box and make sure that everything is started up. As far as like having the beatbox accessible for us. Didn't do the initial setup beforehand this time, but we were pretty far along in the beatbox. We had some initial access at least, so we'll see where we can go from there. So yeah, looks like no one else has it locked. That's a good sign. We'll just go ahead and start this one up. 10.10.10.7 is the IP. We'll give that one a minute. In the meantime, we can go ahead and spawn our TMUX shell. And so we had credentials before. I don't know that I had saved them anywhere. Now, good practice, I should have, right? I should have done a little bit better note taking, but let's see, do we even have that exploit? I don't even think we have that exploit either. But yeah, we can go and grab that stuff. So, hang on, my mouse got disconnected, it seems. Oh. Now it's fixed. All right, so what we need to do is let's just see that we're on the network, and looks like we are. Now the next thing is let's see if we can reach this box. This is how I typically start off, just to make sure everything's good, and we cannot yet, so we'll give it a second. Looks like on the UI of the Hack the Box site, it looks like it's up. Yeah, okay, now it is. No, actually it's not. It said packet loss. Try that again. And yeah, we're still not able to. We might have to reset our VPN. Nope. It just took a little bit longer. One thing I've noticed with Hack the Box is it seems like a lot of times they'll tell you it's online a little bit before it's actually accessible. So you just got to give it a little bit of time. Normally that fixes it. Picking up in popularity, yeah, it looks like it, and it's good to see. As we grow our little security community here, then we'll have more of a discussion on the stuff, and more people can bring questions forward, and I can really tailor the content to what you guys want to see, what you guys have questions about, and we can all elevate our security game together. That's the plan. So. As far as picking up on where we left off last time, we need to do is find that exploit again. Now, first let's just go to, all right, and the reason the proxy server is refusing connections is that I have my proxy set up to use burp, but I don't have burp running, so we just turn that off for now, and we're fine. Oops, we're gonna have to say advanced and tell it to ignore the certificate error, because I don't have this certificate installed on my system. So with Elastics here, there was an LFI vulnerability Google something like that maybe, and then we find it here from ExploitDB. Alternatively, we could find this in SearchSploit as well. Is there anything you would suggest before attempting beginner boxes? Not really. I would say you can pretty much jump into the beginner ones. Some of the really beginner ones are quite beginner. You know what? Let me show you Hack the Box here. Here's something you can do. They added this new thing. So here's all the boxes here, right? Now there's something new they added that I thought was really cool. It's called tracks. Where is that? Right here. This is a new thing. I thought this was cool. I might even work through some of the boxes this way, right? So you got like your beginner track, and then like intro to all kinds of different things, Active Directory. Basically what these are is they took all the boxes on Hack the Box, as well as there's a lot of challenges, which I haven't really dove into. Some of those are like more exploit development stuff, exploitation, like cracking binaries and stuff like that type of stuff. But basically they took everything on the site and they categorized it for you. So if you're just getting started, check out this beginner track. If you go in here, this is taking a bit of time for some reason, but once it loads, you'll see that there is a number of boxes from Hack the Box that are listed out as like recommended stuff, right? Lame is like probably the easiest box on here. Yeah. Are they? Okay, yeah, I haven't done Try Hack Me, but yeah, okay. That's something that I want to look into. Maybe in a future live stream we'll do some Try Hack Me as well. I haven't done any of these like binary exploitation type stuff, but you can like break weak RSA and stuff like that. But for the purposes of like OSCP, just sticking to these boxes should be good. Like all 4 of these boxes are super easy. Another way that you can figure out what you want to attempt is if you go to machines and all, you can actually sort it by difficulty. Let's see, how did I do that? I did that before. It's cool. You can have it, just show Windows, just show Linux, and yeah, sort by difficulty. I think that might be the default. But yeah, if you sort it by difficulty, then you can see, like I said, the lame box is like the easiest one. And as you go down, right, I've done a lot of them, so these are just showing the completed ones. Could show incomplete and complete. Here's like everything. So yeah, tons of stuff on here. A lot I haven't tried, a lot I have tried. But yeah, that's just one way you can figure out what boxes you want to do. I'm not really sure. I've had the VIP one for so long, and they've changed a lot about this site. Because back when I first joined Hack the Box, I remember even if you had the VIP, even if you had the VIP, it was always a rotation of boxes. So you couldn't even if you had VIP, you couldn't do any box you wanted to. It depended on what was in rotation. But since then, they've changed that model. They changed a lot about the site. So those tracks didn't used to exist. Like if you notice, it says new by them. So I don't know if those are available to free users or not, honestly. But I mean, I would guess that probably Try Hack Me is also a good source for beginners as well. Definitely plan on checking some of that out. Maybe doing some live streams on that as well. But yeah, here's our LFI that we were able to use last time. And in particular, this configuration file here. I guess this probably is like one of the Elastic's configuration files on the system that we can view via this LFI exploit. And it will actually show us passwords and usernames all in plain text. So if we go back here and we put this in, then we can see this. Now, when we did it on Burp Suite, we had a bit nicer of a view. But let's see if I can just spot it here. Well, let me just search for admin. Okay, here we go. Yep, I recognize that this was the password here. So to save us time in the future, if we ever come back to this, let's just create a notes file, and we'll say admin and then this password. And so now we have our credentials stored there. So we also noticed that with these credentials, we were able to use them here. And then we can log in as the admin account into this Elastic's application. Now this is kind of where we had stopped last time. I'm not sure if what the functionality is on this thing. Typically, with a lot of stuff, if you find themes and stuff, you might be able to inject some kind of payload. One thing we do know about this is it's running on PHP. Another, there's a programming language that is very difficult to write secure code in. Something to keep in mind. For this one, it didn't look like there was much in the themes that we could really mess with. Maybe we can get some more information on the exact version of Elastic this is, because we don't quite know that either. And even with add-ons, sometimes you have plugins and add-ons that could be vulnerable. That's more of the about, version. Where was that? Right here. So once this loads in, then we can get further information if it can. Okay, maybe this thing is not connected out to the external internet. It can't get out to the external internet, and that's why it can't come back with this information. Oh no, it's just the page. I thought my VM might have froze on me again, but yeah, it looks like we're good as far as that goes. So when you find stuff like this, and you'll see applications that you're unfamiliar with that you get access to quite a bit on the OSCP. And that's where the best thing to first do is just kind of browse around like a normal user. Try to get a lay of the land, see what functionality, like what is the purpose of the application, what kind of things can you do, what functionality does it have. You can shut down systems, all kinds of like networking stuff, interacting with different devices on the network, viewing resources and stuff like that. It looks like this thing does not have access to the external internet, which was why it's not able to do certain things that it typically would be able to do. None of this information I don't think is too useful for us. Some users potentially. I don't want to click shut down just in case it shuts stuff down. So no backups. And that's it for system. There's quite a lot to this. A lot of times, I've seen some really huge applications on the OSCP. It really was a lot to go through. Another thing, of course, like Google is your friend here. But, like I said first, just kind of getting a basic understanding of, what this thing has going on. And then when we do Google stuff and it says, hey, for example, like if it says, hey, in the email template, there's a vulnerability that can allow you to get code execution, then I'll be like, okay, I know where that is, right? I know there's a lot going on with email servers on this box. Like it had a lot of different email ports open. Potentially something interesting there, right? And we can try to look around. If this would be a lot better if we could get confirm the exact version. Is this an extension? Wonder what this secret is here. That's not the password. That's the password. Oh, looks like they're just taking it and... No, never mind. It's completely different. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that. Maybe there could be something to the extensions thing. Okay, here's some file upload going on here, which is something that we can maybe test some stuff with. Especially if we are able to, because we do have that LFI as well, so if maybe we upload something there and then we can use the LFI to execute it, it's something that we can try. But before I go into that, because that could take some time, one thing that I should do is like good practice that I haven't done on this box yet is whenever you get these credentials, right? Remember you get like passwords like this? It's a good idea if it's running SSH to test it against SSH. Now, with that being said, do not try to brute force a login on an SSH account, because I think by default it's going to lock out the account. And especially if you're doing a real world engagement, the last thing you want to do is actually bring some denial of service into the mix. Like, you don't want to deny the service on the box, because if SSH locks you out for trying to brute force stuff, then that's going to be a headache all around. But in this case, we have one password that we can try against like multiple different users, right? When we use the LFI, for example, and I guess I'm gonna have to go back quite a bit to get to that. Let's see if I have it here. Oh no, that was for a different box. Let's see, we could just maybe go back to this, copy and paste this. You want to try the low-hanging fruit stuff first. So we want to make sure we cover our bases here, and then if it doesn't work, we can maybe try something with this file upload thing, right? But instead of looking at this configuration file, let's go back to Etsy host. That'll give us tip us off, or sorry, Etsy password. That'll kind of tip us off on what users are on the system, and that way we can get some user accounts. Now, the easier way to do this is like we did last time. Let's just go ahead and fire up burp so we can get that nicer output of it. Well, no, we can just control U. I just realized that. So we don't need to run burp. We'll just do this. And let's just copy all of this. Come into here. And we'll call it users.txt. Or, yeah, users.txt is fine. So what we want to get rid of, we're going to get rid of all these no login lines, because we want to see, for SSH, right, we have to be able to log in with it. So, and let's get rid of this line too. So an easy way we can do that is we can say grep dash, what is it? Dash V, I think, is the reverse match. And we are looking for no login. Running against users.txt. Oops. I might have to check the man page here. Okay, it's just a lowercase v. right? And so there's certain ones that we can go ahead and remove, but let's go ahead and write this to this file, and then we'll just rename it. So now when we go into that file, we can go ahead and remove sync. It won't be sync or shutdown or halt or news, but we can try it against all of these accounts. So now what we can go ahead and do is cut field 1, delimited by the that character. I think what we need to do though, I think what we need to do is put this in single quotes. Let's see, where did I go wrong here? Oh, I'm saying Vim. That's the reason. Instead of Vim, we just want to cat this rather. And let's see. I'm drawing a blank on the cut command here. Looks like. So let's just do this. If ever you draw a blank on your commands, just type man and check the man page. -D. Okay. I just forgot. That is the syntax. So that's what I wanted to do. So now we have all the users. So same thing, we'll do this and rename it. And so now that we've done that, we have a file with all the users. I'm gonna teach you how to do what's called a password spray attack. So we have a file with a bunch of users, right? And we have that password from before, which, oh yeah, if I cap my notes, you can find it here. We got this password here. And yeah, I guess we could add the admin to that. So to do that easily, we could say echo admin into users.txt. So now when we look at that, we have that one there represented as well. But what we're going to do is we can use Hydra to do a password spray attack. Now, traditional brute force attack would be, you have like one account, like say this Fanis account, and then you have a password list, and you're trying to brute force all those different passwords to see if any of them are valid logins. Now, if you keep trying the same login on the same account, then after a certain number of attempts, as defined in the configuration file for SSH, normally I think like 2, 3, 4 attempts, something like that, it'll actually lock that account. And this is something that you want to keep in mind on real world engagements. You don't want to do that, obviously. But if you have like a list of users and you have a single password to test against, well, none of these, it's going to test this password. We can have it test this password on each account, and therefore even if it's invalid, it's only going to be one invalid attempt. So none of these accounts are going to get locked out. So that's something that we can do. So now there's a lot of different ways, of course, to do this. The way I'm going to do it is using Hydra. So Hydra can, I believe on this channel before, I've used it to brute force web forms, like online web form login pages. It's pretty good for that, but it can also brute force a great number of protocols, and SSH is one of the accepted protocols. Let's go ahead and take a look at the man page for Hydra. And so basically what we are interested in for this command is the way it works is the lowercase versus uppercase, right? If we do a lowercase -l, that will give us that'll expect like a single user account. But if we do a capital L, it'll take a file with all your login names, right? You can load several logins from a file. So that's what we're going to want to use, is the -L Now, for password, we can use the lowercase because we only want to try it against that one password rather than a file. So that's another thing you can do, right? You could even brute force with like a number of potential users and a number of potential passwords. That's going to take quite a while, but that is something they can do using this tool. And I think that's pretty much all we need. Other than that, giving it the target. So in the case of SSH, we just gotta prepend, I think, SSH this whack the server. So yeah, let's go ahead and try that then. Well, first we need to, oh, we have the file, right? So yeah, we have this file already on the system. So yeah, we are pretty much ready to go here. So if we do Hydra, the -L until the users.txt file, and then the password, and we say this password here, I'll go ahead and put it in a single quote, and the target, the SSH protocol of 10.10.10.7. So we'll give that a chance to run and see what it comes back with. Okay, pretty much on the first one, and that's actually kind of crazy because it's the root account, which obviously that is the goal of this. I had done this box a long time ago, but honestly I didn't know that it was gonna be the root account, so that's gonna make things really easy. We probably won't even need to do any kind of privilege escalation on this box. So it says that it got a hit for this one, so let's go ahead and try that then with SSH. So if we do SSH on root at 10.10.10.7, no matching exchange, and Hellman. Here, let's try it this way first. It should be running. Let's go ahead and go into the Nmap and view the scan. Obviously, it was able to connect before, right? Right, our full didn't complete, so we'll do the short one here. Bots? I don't know what you're talking about. Nah, Rob's not a bot. Rob's here all the time. I talk to Rob. He's pretty cool. Let's see. So yeah, we do have, oops, yeah, we do have port 22 running. And yeah, let's see if we can get, I'm not sure why we're getting the SSH error. Might need to look that one up. It might just be something going on with the box. We might want to try and reset. Yeah, Micah's been in here earlier. I seen him. Normally, I actually used to have a lot more viewers on this, but I changed the times around, and I need to let people know when these live streams are gonna happen. I'm working with one of my graphic artists to get a banner on my channel so that when you go to my channel, you can see when the live streams are gonna be. And once I get my Twitter rolling a little bit more, and then you guys can follow me there and stay up to date. But just getting started with some of the social media stuff, and then it should be a lot easier for people to know when things are happening. But yeah, let's see if we can diagnose this error here. So we're getting no matching key exchange method found. So let's just search this, see what's going on with it. Oh wait, this must be a known thing for this box. I don't want to look at the forums if I can help it. So let's check this article instead. So can I do this from my SSH config file maybe? So maybe some kind of legacy thing going on. I don't know. I guess because they're using like Diffie-Hellman or something. Let's see. Let's go back to this. Okay, so they're using some really old, like kind of insecure key exchange methods, and I believe that my SSH client does not support any of those because, well, they're not secure, right? So if we enable that, then we should be able to use it. Let's check where they're talking about. If I go to my home SSH, I think there should be a config file here, right? Not seeing it. But you can do it from the command line, it looks like. Let's try to run it with this, right? So if we go back here and we put in this, let's try it. Yeah, so we could put in the command line. Alternatively, we can add it to the config file to say, hey, use Diffie-Hellman group 1 SHA-1. The issue is their SSH server is not, it is only like set to use like these pretty insecure key exchange methods. And as a security measure on my SSH, it is not default, set up to accept those. So we just got to say, hey, accept this, and then it can actually connect to this server, it seems. So go ahead and accept the fingerprint. And then, all right, now we're prompted for the password. Let's just scroll up a little bit now and copy this and paste that one in. And there you go. We're actually the root account. So yeah, we have full access on this system pretty much just like that. And yeah, we can just go ahead and run whatever stuff we wanted to on the system. Like we can look at the running processes. We can see like what it's listening, like what like ports it's listening on, and pretty much like whatever we want to do. We can see for the OSCP labs, you might be interested to see if it's dual NICed. None of the Hack the Box ones are. They're pretty much only on the Hack the Box network. There is no other network they can pivot to in this. But a little OSCP tip for you. If you get a root shell on a box, run an ifconfig, see if it has dual NICs. So if it did, for example, you would see this ETH0, but then you would also see, you always see LO, that's the loopback. That's just like the local address. All the boxes have those. But in addition to the loopback and ETH0, you'd also see some other interface, and it would be a different network, a different IP address, right? Kind of like when I look at my own one, I see like a local IP that I have up here, loopback, and then ton0 for my Hack the Box network. Well, they'd have, they would just have something else, and then you could use this box to pivot to that network. So essentially there's like different proxying tools you can use to like scan, like Nmap scan another network through a box that you've compromised. That's something that's done a lot in the real world. You won't need that for the exam or anything, but it's something you can play around with on the OSCP labs. And in their lab guide, they'll teach you how to do that. And if you're like interested in red teaming and stuff, this is something they do a lot. However, they normally use like C2 frameworks and stuff to do that. So maybe they use something like Cobalt Strike, or they probably teach you how to do that with PowerShell Empire on OSCP, I'd imagine, since they added the Empire section to it. But yeah, that's what you can. You also do it with Metasploit as well, for the pivoting and stuff like that. So wow, yeah, we actually made pretty quick timing on this. I was expecting this to take a lot more time today. I thought there'd be a lot of enumeration and stuff we need to do. So what we can do is we can just go ahead and get started on another one. We can just pull up another one. Let's see where I put my Hack the Box page. I guess I'll take any requests if someone has a request of what you want me to do. If not, we can just pick one of the random ones here. So yeah, let me know if there's any boxes on OSCP that, or sorry, on HTB, on Hack the Box that you'd be interested in me doing. Otherwise, we can pick a random one. Let's see. This looks good. We can go ahead and do the Mirai box that I'm thinking. That one was it's marked as a pretty real life one. Here's an interesting little thing you can gather from this, right? So I have done this box a long time ago. I don't remember like anything about it really, but this is pretty cool. That I don't really pay much attention to this, but it's cool, right? If you go into any of the boxes, you can see like they rate them on like how real life, like lifelike they are, or CTF like, and then I guess like the CVEs involved. SQLite. Okay, let's search for SQLite and see if it mentions any boxes. Okay, here we go. Jarvis. Jarvis is one that has SQL injection, apparently. So we can maybe go for Jarvis. Let's see what it says about Jarvis, right? So easy way to search, you can just search in here and it'll come up. This one is like one of the more difficult ones, it looks like. But pretty lifelike box, which is good. Got some CVEs, a lot of enumeration required on this one. Not very CTF-like, but the exploitation that it is involved is not too custom. So this might be a good one to do. So if any of you guys are unfamiliar, what does it mean CTF-like versus real life? Well, sometimes in CTFs you'll get methods of exploiting the box that are like you would never find in the real world. Like for example, like more of a like scavenger hunt type of thing, right? Like sometimes they might use steganography to embed like a password in an image file, and you just got to use like some steganographic reverse tool to pull out the text that it's embedded in the image to see, oh, this is the password, right? Like you'll never find something like that really in the real world. So that's more of a CTF type of box, right? A real life box is going to be stuff like, services or applications that are misconfigured that could allow you to elevate your privileges and stuff like that, or maybe leverage the access to get a shell. Anything that has to do with misconfigurations or using legacy stuff that might be vulnerable to stuff that's normally considered more lifelike, more real life. But yeah, we can go ahead and try this one. Let me just, I guess I got to go back and stop the other box before I can start this one, because that's how Hack the Box works. You can only have one box active at a time. But if someone else has a box open, then you can actually do that one, because it'll be online. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and start this box up. And again, we'll have to give it a minute to start. While we're waiting on that, we can get our new Windows spawned, close out of this so we can start off fresh pretty much. And let's see, there we go. Let's go ahead and do a ping. Let's do our standard ping test here to make sure that it's up and accessible. And yep, it is. So now that we know that, we can kick off our scans. I'll just run the script to do that, and it's going to do all the scanning that we need. We'll tell it the box name in this case is Jarvis 10 143, and we'll give it some time to run. And while we're waiting on it, we will check this one here, like the see if there's a web server running. All right, see, Rob asks, is it recommended on the OSCP to work on multiple boxes at once or one at a time? Oh, definitely multiple boxes at once. That's not something that I can do on Hack the Box because, like I said, you can only have one box active at a time. Basically, what you want to do in Hack the Box, and I guess, yeah, I should have mentioned this on a video. Maybe I'll make a video as well about this, but you want to just, as soon as your exam starts, you want to just start scanning like everything and just getting all of your recon together. Just do all your recon up front, and then going from there, you can start enumerating the ports and stuff that are open. So yeah, they'll just you'll just have access to 5 boxes for the exam. Just do everything at once. And then as far as actually exploiting stuff, yeah, only try to exploit one thing at a time. Otherwise, you're going to get lost in what's going on. But as far as your actual recon everything at once. Constantly have it running in the background like I talk about on this channel. But yeah, don't be too scatterbrained when you're actually trying to exploit something. Take it one step at a time. But for the labs in the OSCP, pretty much same thing. You'll just get access to the lab, which will have, at the time I took it like 50 boxes, but now maybe more closer to 70 boxes, I think. So you can just start scanning their network, find what IP addresses are accessible, and then just start port scanning those boxes to see what they have running. Start grepping through your greppable Nmap, and you can search for particular services, all kinds of stuff. Maybe I can make some more videos on that, on if you have like a bunch of IPs with a bunch of open ports, how you can use the greppable Nmap format to help you out there. So this one, it looks like they got some hotel website going on here. And we can browse around, look at the functionality. It's a PHP site, and maybe some IDOR involved, right? What if we change this value to 1? A different one. What if we put this? Super secret hotel.htb. Okay, that's pretty interesting, right? Or super secure hotel.htb. Let's go ahead and put that in. Well, I didn't do this, so let's do this first. Continue. Jarvis. And what we can do is we'll edit our Etsy host file. And delete this line, don't need it. And we'll put 10.10.10.143. And then this name here. Oops. So now let's check that out. Maybe there's some kind of routing there if we go to that. Maybe it didn't go through yet. Let's put like a HTTP. We can do some DNS stuff on that too. We can try some SQL injection, or see, %20 is space. Let's see, %20. This is like a MySQL payload. You're not seeing anything off of that. We can play around a little bit more with that later. It didn't actually throw a SQL error, so if I just put like some crazy number, okay, yeah, it just comes back with that. So we don't know that that's really SQL or using any kind of SQL. But yeah, that's an interesting parameter there. What if we put like letters? A lot of security is like asking yourself, what if we do this? What if we do that, right? Just using the application in an unintended way and just seeing how it responds, right? So all these correspond to different numbers, I guess, right? And they're pretty much incremented. If you're doing an engagement, I would say that's a indirect object reference vulnerability, potentially. I say potentially because you should have access to all of these, so I don't think it's really like any sensitive information that you're finding through this. But definitely if it's like someone's account and you can just go to their account by guessing the number, then, you know, that's obviously a vulnerability, right? But let's see. We'll just keep looking around. Does not seem like there's too much going on with this website here. But if this is some kind of content management system, maybe it's a WordPress. It is we saw it as a PHP site, right? So just try some potential subdirectories. We should probably go ahead while we're waiting, kick off a GoBuster scan on this. So let's do that. And so we'll do subdir script on this IP. And we'll say PHP. So there's a nav PHP images. As is for the nav bar. The images are probably just the images, but sometimes you'll find some. We have done hack the box machines before where we found some lucrative or basically passwords through this, right? But since it does say it's a pretty lifelike box, I doubt that would be the case on this one. So probably won't look through all these. So let's go and check back on our scan. It looks like the initial scan has completed. Now it's running the full. Not really too much going on with this box, at least in the initial pass through. We just see a port 80, which that's what we're investigating right now. It's definitely a PHP application. And then you got port 22 here. But I do find that pretty interesting, that host name there. Super secure hotel.hcb. Here we go. PHP my admin. It is a 301. Doesn't necessarily mean we have access to that. And we actually do. So let's try admin for starters. All right. So it is for sure running MySQL because PHP my admin is basically a nice web interface for MySQL server. So let's look up PHP my admin default credentials. And we can try whatever it says, right? Root and a cryptic password. I'm not sure what that means. You can try root with null. That's what it says it defaults to. Let's try that. All right. they're set to not allow no password. So this might be secured for right now. We might have to poke around a little bit more before we can get the potential password to this machine. Maybe we'll need to leverage some SQL injection to do that, perhaps. But yeah, that's pretty interesting there. So if we can find any potential injection points on this website, we can test for some SQL injection. Looks like these don't actually link anywhere. These don't link anywhere either. These took us to this stuff, right? And then the home page was just this. Yeah, SQL map is banned. But with that being said, to make sure you don't really need it, you won't need it. Like if there is SQL injection, it'll be very simple. It should be like pretty simple. My experience on the exam was I didn't even have any boxes with SQL injection on them. As far as I'm aware, none of them did. But maybe in their vast rotation of boxes, there might be one. I don't know. View all. See where that takes us. The only thing I could think of is maybe fuzzing like this. I try to do that manually just by trying something like this, but it didn't throw any kind of SQL error really. Oops. The potential email address right there. supersecuredhotel.htb. I wonder if we start looking at some DNS stuff with that maybe. We can check the connection.php as well. Don't think there's going to be anything here really, but let's see. And then also checking back on our scan here. Okay, there is another web server running on this crazy port here. Yeah, I did run that. I do recommend running GoBuster. Or, I mean, really, it's all preference. I used to use DirSearch a bunch. I really like GoBuster, though, too, because, I mean, they both do the same thing, right? But, you know, it's really all preference, I would say, honestly. You can use DirSearch, GoBuster. Some people I know, like some of my viewers, like DirBuster. You can use that as well. But there's tools to do basically the same things, whatever you're comfortable with. Where were we though? Yeah, okay, so we have this other web server open. We definitely want to check this out. Even banned for 90 seconds, don't be bad. I wonder if I put in the super secure hotel.htb. Hang on. Let's try, so it doesn't accidentally do a Google search. Let's try it like this, maybe. And yeah, pretty much same thing. Let's look at the page source. Don't really see much going on there. Says I've been banned. What happens if I go back to like here? Looks like it can still access this site just fine. This is gonna have something weird going on. We wanna log our traffic then at this point. Maybe we can see something interesting going on with this one. This is gonna be one of the tougher boxes, so this one might take us a little while to figure out, but that's okay. So yeah, this did complete. Aside from the PHPMyAdmin, nothing interesting really on this one. Maybe we want to run the same thing on the other port. Definitely, right? Let's try that. It'll save me some time, actually. Let me cat this. Copy it. And then we'll edit it, right? We'll call this file and I'm gonna run it on this super secure hotel.htb on that high port. And the extensions, I'm not gonna specify. I don't think you have to. I'm not gonna specify because I'm not sure what technology is running here. And everything else is fine. So we'll run that, see if it finds any anything on this one. While that's going, did we start up Burp? I thought we did. Maybe not. Maybe it crashed on us or something. So what we can do, and my mouse, sometimes when I launch applications in my VM, this has been a recent thing. Sometimes my mouse stops working, I gotta unplug it, replug it, but what I want to do is sort of like intercept my traffic and see if I notice anything unusual with this one here. So now we have this running. Let's just go here. And I don't know why every time I switch to